Thomas the Tank Engine was hurrying along the tracks to Knapford Station. Come along, he sang to Annie and Clarabel. A new rail tour is coming today. We're coming along, the coaches sang back. When Thomas reached Knapford Station, he could see that the visiting train had just arrived. The engine's driver was checking him over. "Hello," said Thomas. "Are you here for a rail tour?" "Yes, I am," said the engine. "I'm Blue Peter." "And I'm Thomas." He then noticed the driver. "Have you been hurt?" he asked. "Oh, not at all," said Blue Peter. "Just doing some safety checks, that's all." "All right, Blue Peter," said the driver. "Everything looks good." An old woman came up to the driver.
"Excuse me, young man," she said, "but would you mind helping an old woman with her luggage?"
"Certainly, mum," said the driver. She led him to a large trunk. The station master looked worried. "Will you need some help with that?" he asked. "No," said the driver. "It looks easy enough." But it wasn't. The driver had barely lifted the heavy trunk off the ground when suddenly... "Oh, my back!" shouted the driver. "I've hurt my back! Someone call an ambulance!" ordered the station master. Soon an ambulance arrived to take the injured driver away. Blue Peter was worried. "I hope he's not too badly hurt," he said. "The medic said it was just a sprain," said the fireman. "So it's nothing serious, but it looks like he'll be in hospital for a few days, so he won't join us for the journey home." "So someone else will have to be my driver?" "That's right," said the fireman. "A reliefman will come along for tomorrow's train." Now Blue Peter was scared. He worried and fussed to himself as he limped to the shed. Thomas came to see him. "Cheer up, Blue Peter," he whistled. "It might never happen." "I don't consider this a time for joking about," Blue Peter said sternly. Thomas made a face. "What's the matter?" he asked. "A reliefman will be coming to be my driver tomorrow." "But isn't that a good thing?" "You don't understand," Blue Peter explained. "He may not be familiar with my controls. Not long ago, a crew was assigned to drive me for a special train. They didn't know much about my controls. They primed my boiler and I ended up doing a violent wheel slip that destroyed my side rods." "Priming?" asked Thomas. "Isn't that when there's too much water in your boiler and leaks into your dome?" "That's right," said Blue Peter. Now Thomas wanted to help. He didn't want to see Blue Peter get hurt again. "You should tell your reliefman that you're cautious," he said. "That way he'll know to be careful with your controls." "Very well," Blue Peter agreed, but secretly he was skeptical. The next day, Blue Peter was getting ready to take the rail tour train back to the mainland. He had just backed down onto his coaches. The fireman had left the cab to fetch the reliefman. "Now for my plan," said Blue Peter to himself. Slowly, he rattled his linkages to disengage his brakes. He slowly looked around, and luckily, no one saw or suspected anything. Next, he rattled his linkages again, this time opening his regulator. He began to move out of the station, slowly at first, then faster and faster. "Hey, where are you going?" It was the fireman who had just come back with the reliefman, but Blue Peter was too far away to hear him. Blue Peter made his way down the countryside. He enjoyed being able to move on his own. But then he passed a signal telling him to slow down. Blue Peter tried to engage his brakes, but he couldn't. "Help! Help!" he whistled. "I can't stop! I can't stop!" He rolled into the tunnel and out the other side. Thomas was standing at the platform with Annie and Clarabel. Blue Peter, look out! Shouted Thomas. I can't stop! Called Blue Peter back. Quickly thinking, Thomas slowly reversed from the platform. Blue Peter hit his buffers with a bump. Thomas's driver then applied his brakes, then clambered into Blue Peter's cab and shut off steam and applied the brakes. Blue Peter was relieved. Thank you, Thomas, the big engine panted. What are you doing all the way out here? Asked Thomas. Isn't your train due out? It's a long story. I'll tell you on the way back to the station. So Blue Peter and Thomas made their way back to Natford. The Railtour manager was waiting. He was very cross. Blue Peter, he scolded. What were you playing at, rolling away with no driver? I'm sorry, sir, Blue Peter winced. I panicked. I didn't want the relief man to drive me, in case he wasn't trained into how to, and something would happen like in Durham again. What are you talking about? The reliefman exclaimed. Of course I've been trained. That's right, the Railtour manager said. We've made sure that all of our crews have been trained and certified to operate such equipment. Why didn't you just tell them you were nervous? Asked Thomas. That was my idea after all. I know, said Blue Peter, and I should have. I was just scared. Now, Blue Peter, said the Railtour manager, you should always tell someone if you have a concern about anything, especially if you're scared. I'll remember that, sir, Blue Peter said, feeling reassured. Now, that's quite enough of that, said the Railtour manager. It's time this Railtour train was off. Soon Blue Peter was coupled to his coaches, and the reliefman was checking him over. Right, you're all set, he said. Thank you, Blue Peter said. I'm sorry I was skeptical of you. You're doing well so far. Hopefully you'll be sensible now, said Thomas. Then the guards whistle blew, and Blue Peter started off for home.